If your washer is making this horrible noise and has these 6 LED lights and this pause play button, it doesn't matter what brand it is, whether it's a Roper, Kenmore, Whirlpool, Maytag, or that cheap Amana, this is a video for you. Alright, to get started, we're going to turn off the water, disconnect the washer, pull it forward so we can easily lay it on its side. Here's a quick trick for not getting water on the floor. Disconnect the drain line at the bottom, let it drain into a bucket, and then reconnect it. So what we're working on today is the suspension dampening rods. And when these guys go bad, the washer bangs all over the place. They're balanced on 4 of them, and when they go bad, they sound like this. Now, before you order any parts and waste money, you may have another problem. Check that there's not a wobble in the drum. Just look between the interior and the exterior drum. The video on the right is a good one. Should barely wobble. If it does, it means the hub's bad and there is a new part to fix it, but we'll do that in another video. Alright, to get started, we're going to remove these 3 screws in the back of the washer so we can lift the top of the washer up to get to these parts. I always like to tape down the lid because we're going to be leaning this back and forth a ton of times. We don't want that lid flopping. Now that we got those 3 screws removed, we're going to pull the top up by pulling forward, lifting up a little bit, and then putting it back where it was in the center, and that will release the hook. And as we lean the head back, you'll see there's these ears and slots that you can put this into, and it will actually hold the head of this washer up very nicely. And if you position the washer in the right spot on the floor, you can actually just lean it back a bit and it will perfectly balance against the wall. Alright, so here's an awesome life hack for all my repair guys out there. Take 3 2x boards and stack them on top of each other, and if you put them underneath the pulley and slowly sit it down, it will remove all the weight of the drum from the suspension rods, so it's no longer this horrible nightmare of trying to lift the entire drum with that little skinny rod. You do have to kind of pull it, make sure it's back in the center and not stuck underneath that lip. But look, when I reach down here, there's practically no weight. It comes right out. Do still be careful, don't scratch your arm. It's a sharp edge right there. I should be wearing gloves, do as I say, none as I do. But that little trick right there has made it so much easier to get these suspension rods changed. Pretty much you put them underneath, and as long as you don't wiggle a whole lot, remember to take them out at the end, obviously. This little trick's going to save you a ton of time, a ton of backache, and if you're kind of feeling like you may not be able to lift that entire drum because it is kind of heavy, this will actually help you out a whole lot. So use this trick, just 3 2x blocks, whatever size, the bigger the better, as long as they fit up underneath the washing machine. Alright, so I've done a million of these, so usually I just lean it at like a 45-degree angle and I'll reach and pull the rod out from underneath without looking, and I'll put the new rod into the threaded through that hole without looking because I've just done this so many times. But one way to do it is what I'm doing right here. Lay the machine all the way outside and put the new rod right in the hole. And a little life hack here is you can take the end of the rod and hook it on top of the washer. I'll show you a picture right here, and that's going to make it way easier when you go to hook up this rod when we pick the machine up. Alright, now we're going to just start repeating these steps. There's 4 rods. We're going to undo the rod. We're going to drop the rod through, close the lid down, lean the machine over, pull the rod out, put a new rod in, repeat all 4 times. One thing I like to do is put a little white lithium grease right on top here. It's 2 plastic pieces that rub together a whole lot, so why not give it a little bit of lubrication. Just don't put so much that it runs down the rod. You can ruin a new rod like that. Alright, for those of you wondering if all these rods are exactly the same, the answer is a lot of them are. But some drums are deeper than others, and they'll have longer rods because the drums hang a little bit lower to the ground to make the drum a little bit deeper on a washing machine. So you definitely don't want to order the wrong rods. One way to check this is check my description below. You can go to Appliance Parts Pros, put your model number in. It's really easy to find. It's just right inside the lid of the washer. And then do a search by your model number, and it'll pull up all the parts and the exact part number, and you can double check that this is the right size rod for you. Alright, so now we're nearly done with the front 2. The back 2 are usually a little bit more difficult because it's kind of hard to reach in between to grab the rod, but if you're using the 3 2x4 trick that I showed you at the beginning, you can make this way easier because you're taking most of the weight off. But now we're going to do the exact same thing. We're just pulling these rods out, replacing them, leaning the machine over and over and over again until we get all 4 rods done. And all 4 rods are pretty much the exact same process. But at the end of this, we're going to put the machine back together, obviously, but we also need to recalibrate. And some people would say that is not necessary. I don't think there's any problem with recalibrating. This machine more than likely was really beating itself to death, and there is a computer board in this thing. And it's probably not the worst idea to go ahead and just reset the computer board by doing a recalibration. Before we do that, let's put the machine back together. On the back of the machine, remember there's that screw there and one there, and then you have that plate. Don't forget that. Now we're going to turn the knob to the left, 3 times to the right, 1 left and 1 right. From here, we're just going to turn the knob until it gets to the rinse. Then we're going to click start. Take about 5 minutes. If you guys want to understand what exactly goes wrong with these rods and how to refurbish them without having to buy new, check out this video right here. Also, click that circle in the middle to subscribe, and if you comment below, I will answer you.